Hello friends, in this video we are going to learn the get and post methods which will be used with the HTML form, and those HTML forms we are using in ASP.NET. So what is get? Particularly, a get method is used to append the form data to the URL in the name or value pair. If you use get, the length of URL will remain limited. So that will help users to submit the bookmark the result. The get is better for the data which does not require any security or having images or Word documents. The features of get are given. Here are some important features of the get. So what are those features? That the get, which is very easy to bookmark data using the get method. The length restriction of get method is also limited. You can use this method only to retrieve data from the address bar in the browser. This method enables you to easily store the data. So get is used to append the data to the URL in the name or value pairs. We can use the get as well as post methods, and the get method is easy to bookmark. The length of this get method and the restriction towards the URL is given, and the get which will be used having the length restrictions. This will be used to retrieve the data from the address bar in the browser. On the other hand, what is the post? The post is a method that is supported by HTTP and depicts that the web server accepts the data, including the body of the message. Post is often used by the World Wide Web to send user-generated data to the web server or when you upload the file. What are the features of the post? There are some important features that the post method request gets input from the request body and query string. The data which is passed using the post method will not be visible in query parameters in the browser URL. The parameters of post methods are not saved in the browser's history. There is no restriction in sending the length of the data. It will help you to secure path sensitive and confidential information like login details to server. So this post is also used to get the data from the user, and that will be accepted from the web server. Particularly the data included in the body of the message. So we use the post in the World Wide Web, where user generated data will be saved to the web server and that will be uploaded file. Also, the post method which will request the get input from the request body and the query string. So whenever the data passed using the post method will not be visible in the query parameters in the browser URL. The parameters of post method are not saved in the browser history. This is also very important feature. This will helps you to securely pass the sensitive and confidential information like login details to server. What are the differences between get and post? In get method, values are visible in the URL. But on the other hand, in the post method, the values are not visible in the URL. URL, that is Uniform Resource Locator, that is the web address. The get has some limitation on the length of the values, that will be generally 255 characters, that will be the length of the values. But post has no limitation on the length of the values since they are submitted via the body of the HTTP, that is a Hypertext Transfer Protocol. In the get side, get will perform better as compared to post because of the simple nature of get, which will append the values in the URL. But post has some sort of a lower performance as compared to get method because the time spent in the including post values in the HTTP body. So post will take some more time to include and the values which will be taken from the user. The get method that will support only string data type. This is also important. The get actually method used to support only the string data type. On the other hand, the post method which will support different data types such as string, numeric or binary or etc. So as compared to get and post, if we see this difference, the get is having some good advantages and post is having some good advantages. But on the other hand, the difference between get and post, furthermore, that the get results can be bookmarked and the post results cannot be bookmarked. The get request is often catchable. The post request is hardly catchable. So that is, it is not catchable. The get parameters remain in the browser history, but the parameters which will be not saved in the web browser's history on the post method. So that this is the exact difference between get and post method. What are the advantages and disadvantages of using the get? Here are some advantages of get. The first advantage, that is the get method can retrieve information identified by the request, that is URL. The get request can be viewed in the browser's history. That is the advantage of get. The get has next advantage that it enables you to save the result of the HTML form. So this is also good advantage. This will enable this to save the results of the HTML form. The next, that is, you can usually use get method to request required data. So that is also beneficial for the user who are using the get method in their forms. But some sort of a different thing that we are using the get, but only string data will be valid in the get method. Let us see the disadvantages of get. What are the disadvantages? Get cannot be used to send Word documents or images. Now, the Word documents or images cannot be sent to the browser. The get request can be used only to retrieve the data. So, get request can be used only to retrieve data, not to save the data. The get method cannot be used for passing sensitive information like usernames and passwords. So that is also important, that we can use the sensitive information like usernames and password that cannot be used. The length of the URL is limited. If we use the get method, the browser appends the data to the URL. If you are using the get method, the browser actually appends the data to the uniform resource located, that is the web address. You can easily bookmark query string values in get. So you can bookmark in get method, but we cannot do it in post method. What are the advantages and disadvantages of post method? Let us see the advantages. So what are the advantages? The first advantage that this method helps you to determine resource URI, that is uniform resource identifier. Now next, specifying a new resource location header is very easy using location header. You can send the request to accept the entity as a new resource which is identified by the URI. You can send user generated data to the web server. It is very useful when you do not have any idea about resource you have to keep in the URL. If you don't have any idea about the resources, you can keep this with the URL. Using post, you can need some server which will control URL generation of your resources. So we are using the web server as well as web client, and on the basis of this, the post method will require some server that will controls the particularly the URL generation. Post is secure method as it requests do not remain in the browser history. If we are using the post method, the browser history will be get deleted, and this is very secure. And you can effortlessly transmit a large amount of data using post. So if you have a large amount of data on your browser, that will be transmitted with the using post method, and that will be kept or saved towards the server. You can keep the data very private. This method can be used to send a binary as well as ASCII data. So post method is used to send binary as well as ASCII data also. But what are the disadvantages of post? Some drawbacks we can say also. So some cons are used, that is it does not possible to save data as the data is sent by the post method which is not visible in the URL. So in the post method, the data will not be visible in the URL, that is the website. But in the get method, that is visible, the data which can be visible. So you cannot see the post request in the browser's history. So you cannot see post request in the browser's history. This method is not compatible with many firewall setup. So we are using some security measures for the websites, but post method, if you are using, that will be not much compatible with many firewall setups. Firewalls we are using, that is antivirus, as well as some firewalls we are using for getting some information, or some pipelining will be used from the internet, some data, some information that will be very harmful to your browser or your computer, that will be not get stopped with this post method. Now you cannot use the spaces, tabs, carnage or returns, etc. So in the post method we cannot use the spaces or tabs. So but this can be happen with the get method. This method is not compatible with some firewall setups, and the post method takes a lot of time when uploading the large binary file. Now get method is easy, as well as get method is very fast method to upload the data, but the post method is not much, it is not taking the time, it is losing the time to upload the large binary file. What is the key difference in between these two methods we are using in the form elements? That is the get method, the values are visible in the URL, while in the post method values are not visible in the URL. So the get methods values are visible, in the post method values are not visible. Next, that is the get has some limitation on the length of the values. What is that length? That is 255 characters. But whereas the post has no limitations on the length of the values submitted, and that will be submitted by the body of HTTP. The get method supports only string data type, while the post that will support the string, numeric, binary, etc. So get will request often cacheable. Get is cacheable, that cache data we can store, and there we can, this data can be used number of times. But post request is hardly cacheable, that is it is not cacheable. So that data will be not get stored in cache memory. The get performs are better compared to post method. So these are the different key differences which can be used in the form elements. So that is the difference, and that is the all over about the get and post methods. Thank you very much.